On this hand, South opened 1 heart, and I had a 14 count with a decent diamond suit, so I overcalled 2 diamonds. North has a simple 2-heart raise with 3 hearts and 7 points. Toby's kind of doesn't have a great hand. He's got 6 points. If he had 4-4 in the blacks, he could make a responsive double at this point, asking me to bid one of those suits, but he just doesn't really have enough to make a bid now, so he passed. This bid came around to me, and there's a saying that says, nobody plays 2 hearts unless I have hearts. In other words, although it does happen, you should really not want to sell out to 2 hearts in an auction, if possible. And I've got 2 things going for me. First of all, I'm non-vulnerable, so it's cheap to go down. It's cheap to get in the auction and fight for a better score. And also, I have 5 diamonds and 2 hearts, leaving 3 cards in the other suit. So what I can do now is I can make a reopening double. This double is not penalty. It's not saying I think 2 hearts is going down. That's very unlikely. It's saying, partner, along with my 5 diamonds, I have at least 3 cards support in the other suits, and we need to compete. So you make the most sensible bid that you can. There's always some risk here, but it's usually justified. At match points especially, it's a game of taking some chances and trying to get them up another level and set them. The North hand passed, rightly so, because it's, again, only a 7 count, a tiny bit of shape, definitely not worth another bid. So Toby now bid his 5-card club suit at 3 clubs. At that point, South went ahead and capitulated and bid 3 hearts. That's not a bid that I would recommend, because if we count the losers, so let's talk about the losers in this hand. So it's a 7-loser hand. I mean, 5-3-3-2 is a terrible shape. You should always be very pessimistic with that kind of shape. You just don't have any length, no 4-card suit to set up. It's just bad. So I really don't think there's any reason to bid 3 hearts, and if Toby and I were sitting north-south, I hope that the auction would die at 3 clubs if our opponents bid 3 clubs. But they bid 3 hearts. I was happy. I got the bidding up another level. If they were always making 3 hearts, it didn't cost me anything, but if 2 hearts is making and 3 hearts isn't, then I'm getting a better score. So I went ahead and passed. So now I had to leave. Once in a while, I'll lead out an ace, but I don't do it very often. I do tend to make more passive leads. I'm certainly not leading away from an ace-queen, so the likely candidate is the spade suit. I could lead either 10, showing the 9, or I could lead small, showing an odd number. That's how Toby and I are very much based on count and suit preference, and I did lead the 4 of spades, which in a suit contract for us shows an odd number. The lowest does. Dummy came down, and right away Toby suspects that I have 3 spades, maybe 4. He knows I don't have the ace because I wouldn't be under-leading the ace, so Declare has the ace. Declare owns the spade suit. That 4th spade is going to be good. I'm in as west, and I need to get Toby in and have him lead stuff through me. So I've got to be patient here. Declare hopped up with the queen with an entry so that she could play on hearts. What heart would you lead here? I probably would lead the jack in hopes that someone would cover. It's very possible I'll lose the queen and the ace, but I think that jack would be my choice. It could go jack, queen, king, ace, and now I've got the 8-7. Now I might be finessing against the 9 later. Well, I think that's what I would play, but that's not what happened at this table. They led a small heart to the king and the ace. So Toby has a good queen, and he's got a rather high 9 spot as well, and I'm back in. Well, again, I'm leery that Declare is going to run the spades and try and take a pitch, and that's a real risk, is that Declare actually has the queen of hearts in her hand, and she can draw the trump, play off the spades, and take a pitch. But I really wasn't sure it would be profitable to do anything else, so I continued with the spade. This spade went around to the ace in Declare's hand. So Declare continues the plan of trying to draw trump. So it goes 3, 5, 10, queen. Toby and I really haven't had any great chances to signal yet. Toby's finally in. He can finally lead something through. Toby is watching the spots. He knows that the only heart higher than the 9 right now is the jack sitting in dummy. I played the 4 of spades first and then the 9, so I absolutely must have 4, 9, 10. That's the only possible combination. So I've got 5 diamonds, probably 2 hearts I've shown up with. I've got 3 spades and 3 clubs for my reopening double. So he should know my shape exactly at this point. He goes ahead and plays the 8 of diamonds, top of a doubleton, to get his ruff. So it goes through to the queen. I play the ace. And again, for the 3rd time, I don't want... If Toby had the king, he might have led the king of clubs. You know, the fact that Toby led the diamonds the way he did, it tells me he wants to try to score a ruff. You know, if he wanted to lead on clubs, he could have led clubs, but he led diamonds. So I'm going to continue with partner's plan. I've got 3 diamonds to choose from. Even though it doesn't make a big difference here, I want to point out the importance of suit preference. I have 3 equally, relatively worthless diamonds. And we do watch these spots here. If I play a 10, I mean, why would I play the 10 versus the 4 versus the 3? I mean, usually at this point it's suit preference. The 10s suggest spades, the 3 suggests clubs, and the 4 suggests indifference. You can make great improvements in your defense if you can convey these messages to partner when necessary. You know, whether it mattered or not, I was pretty sure that if he roughed this, a club was coming back no matter what. But just out of principle, I did play the 3, the smallest one. Toby was able to rough with his 9, and then he put the queen of clubs on the table, and we got our 2 club tricks. And Declare finished down 3. 300 points for the good guys. The most important lesson here is, again, when you're non-vulnerable, take chances in the competitive auction. Don't do anything crazy, ridiculous. When Toby and I went to the Chicago Nationals several years ago, it really felt like we got beat up pretty good in some events. We found that, you know, the good players we played against in either NABC events or 10K events, 10,000 and under events, we found that the level of competition bidding was much tougher and much more competitive than we were used with the club. It was a real adjustment for us. It was something we simply weren't used to at our club. People were much more competitive, and occasionally it would pay out for them as a better score. And so we returned from that, you know, with the knowledge that we needed to be more competitive as well in our game. So the opponents opened the bidding 1 heart. Now, if we look at the double dummy results, that is, if we actually look at, with best declared play and defense, what a heart contract is capable of making, they're capable of making 2 hearts. They're capable of a score of 110. When I come in the bidding 2 diamonds, it turns out I can only take 6 tricks. So I'm going to go down 2. But if they don't double me, and it's not likely that they will, now I'm going to go down 100 instead of 110. So my score is actually improved by bidding. But when my opponent bids 2 hearts, now they're making 110. When Toby bids 3 clubs is only going down 1. So our score is improved from minus 110 now to minus 50. So, I mean, that's a big improvement in our score. When Declare finally bids 3 hearts, you cannot make 3 hearts. So we go from minus 50 to now we're going to go at least plus 100. And then when Declare couldn't handle things as well as the double dummy result, it ended up being 300. If you go back and look at match point results, the east-west pairs that allowed 2 hearts to play and make 2, they got a 43%. The pairs that were in 3 diamonds, a 7-card fit, managed to only go down 100. They got 67%. Someone was in 3 clubs that did indeed go down 1. That was worth 80%. And we were the only one to set 3 hearts. We got a top board for 300.